All right, folks, back here again. It's Monday night, the 9th of December, and we've got SAG nominations coming out this Wednesday, the 11th. So, in case I didn't have time tomorrow, I figured I might as well get this video knocked out of the way here. It should be pretty quick here. But just one quick thing before we start. One thing I do want to remind everybody here, and that's whether you're an old viewer or not. I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer so I can blow out your eardrums a little bit, I guess. Is when I do live reactions, remember that if I'm like, oh, fuck, oh, shit, it's like I'm not really pissed off on what is nominated. It's the fact that I didn't predict it. Just remember that, guys. So I know a lot of you guys were like, why were you upset with Joker getting so many nominations? I wasn't necessarily upset, just in the way of I was upset I didn't predict it, Just the fact that I did, very much underestimate what it would do with the Globes there. And, and after 4 nominations there, 7 nominations on Sunday at the Critics' Choice, I mean, Joker is going to be around to stay. So personally for SAG here on Wednesday, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like, watch out for to get in for ensemble or anything. I don't think so. That would be a little crazy. But I have it in for like the stunt ensemble and for Joaquin Phoenix. So I think it'll get a couple nominations there at least. So just so it's kind of a clear the air thing, and just so if you're new or if you just need a reminder there, that's it. So anyway, so I will much be in the same mood here on Wednesday here when I miss a couple of predictions. I'm sure I will. I don't ever get 100%, of course. Anyway, so SAG, of course, coming out on Wednesday here. I'm gonna look up. I don't know what time they announce. Our SAG nominations announced. Let's see what they say here. Let's see. So it'll be 7 Pacific, so it's a little bit later than it was on this morning here. That's how long a day it's been. So, okay. So now we'll get into predictions here for SAG. Remember, there's only 6 film categories here, so it should be pretty cut and dry here for who I think's in, who has a chance, who's out, so on and so forth. So, starting with the stunt ensemble category, this is always, you pick a couple action movies, you pick a weird one, and hopefully they stick. I mean, like we saw, I think it was like Ballad of Buster Scruggs got nominated here last year. I'm going to pull them up from last year. Last year was the 25th. Screen Actors Guild. There we go. I think it was something like that. I think it was like, let's see, I gotta get to the film section here. Yeah, it was like Ballad of Buster Scruggs, 3 Marvel movies, and Mission Impossible Fallout. So, so it's like, they traditionally, you go with that and then just kind of go from there. So this year, 1917, I think, is right at the top of the list. It's a big war movie. It's kind of reminiscent a bit of like Mad Max, which was a big winner here a few years ago. I think Avengers Endgame gets in. Ford v. Ferrari I have in because that's another kind of popular kind of action-ish movie here. As I mentioned, Joker is in there. And I have, for that weird one, I have Us getting in, which has, I think about a couple of scenes, like the ones where the twins are like falling down. I guess it's spoilers since it's been out for a few months, but it's like when the twins are like falling down the house and like 10-foot drops or whatever and stuff like that. And a couple other scenes, like all the stuff on the boat with Winston Duke and stuff. So I always think of stuff like that. And it's like, it's one, Lupita Nyong'o didn't get in for the Globes today, but, she's been hanging around there with some critics' prizes and stuff. And I think the movie overall, maybe it didn't go over well with everybody as far as those who saw it, but I think the industry people liked it. I certainly really liked it. So not as much as Get Out, but it was right there. I really enjoyed it there. One possible nominee here is another kind of Oscar contender, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, potentially, especially again, spoilers for some of the stuff in the middle and in the last act. There's some. As you'd expect in a Tarantino movie, it gets kind of violent, so there's definitely some stuff there where it's like, wow, hats off to the stunt department, especially if there's one, if you've seen the movie, you know what it has, it's like the final kind of bit of violence in the film. I mean, I think everybody who's seen it knows it, but if you haven't, I won't spoil it, but it's definitely something where you're like, wow, hats off to that person who did what they did there. Then a couple other, you have the other Marvel movies in there. Spider-Man Far From Home and Captain Marvel, I think, are another possible, could be nominees there. Okay, so now after we've seen Critics' Choice and the Globe nominations, here's who I have getting in for the 5 for Supporting Actress on Wednesday. They're Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, Florence Pugh for Little Women, Margot Robbie for Bombshell, and Maggie Smith for Downton Abbey. So Annette Bening, I mean, her getting in today but missing out on Sunday, that is definitely showing that she's she's not going to be done here. Kathy Bates popped up today. She got also the NBR National Board of Review win for supporting actress. So it's possible. I mean, she does do a lot of stuff. She does some bigger movies, smaller movies, so she's definitely possible for Wednesday. But I don't necessarily think she's like the 6th or the 7th place. I think 6th place is probably Annette Bening. A couple other names to watch out for are Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, who did miss this morning. Another one who missed was Zhao Shuzhen for The Farewell. Dolomite is my name. Just got a couple nods this morning, but again, I'm kind of shouting the praise of Davine Joy Randolph here. Possible, especially if SAG really goes for it, then we could see something like that. And then another one, a very popular actress, is Octavia Spencer. She had Loose out earlier this year. I haven't seen it, but yeah, Octavia, I think she's been, is it 3 years in a row? No, just 2 years. Yeah, I don't think was she nominated last year for anything? I don't think so. Actually, I've got it right here. I can pull it up. No, she wasn't. But yeah, she was nominated a couple years in a row for Hidden Figures and for Shape of Water. So yeah, it's she's definitely a very popular actress there. And Luce, I think, is kind of going away from a lot of the conversations here, but just figures you throw that one out there just in case it happens. Okay, actor in a supporting role, which this race is becoming a lot more interesting now. My predictions are Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse. I now have Anthony Hopkins in for The Two Popes. He's made it in both Sunday and Monday, and he was the only acting nominee for The Two Popes. So that definitely helps him. Both Al Pacino and Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and I do have Brad Pitt in there for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, shock! I don't have Tom Hanks getting in, and this was a tough call. I made this morning, and it's locked up, sealed, and it's done here. So here's my rationale on this. Willem Dafoe, again, like we talked about with a few of the other actors there, does the indie movies like Lighthouse, or you could go to the different ones for his career there, the like Antichrist or whatever. He can do literally anything there, but he can also do the big blockbusters with you go back to Spider-Man, you go to Aquaman last year, you go to kind of a moderate film like Motherless Brooklyn he was in this year too. So and he has been nominated both, I believe, last year and the year before. Let me look it up again here. No, he didn't make it in last year. That's right. Yeah, I kind of forgot that. Yeah, he was in the year previous though for the Florida Project. And if I recall, that wasn't his first nomination, I don't think, here at SAG. So I can look it up again here, see what else. Stunt. Yeah, or sorry, not stunt. Overall ensembles for like Grand Budapest Hotel, English Patient. He was also nominated singularly for Shadow of the Vampire as well. So he's got some cred to his name. Definitely Tom Hanks does as well. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like another thing is Hanks is it almost feels like a given for a lot of the other stuff, but at SAG, it's like, I think they'll go for somebody like an Anthony Hopkins. They'll go for Pacino and Pesci in The Irishman because they love to see those guys, especially Pesci, back. And then Brad Pitt is, I seriously don't see him missing now. It's like, I know early, like I've said many times now, early on in the season I was discounting him, but he's like Joker, he's around to stay. And, whether I like it or not, I'm going to predict him. So, anyway, I do need to see the film. I ordered it on Amazon there, so I'll get it pretty soon to watch again. I am looking forward to seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again. I might like it even better the second time. That happened to me with Inglourious Bastards. The first time, as I've probably explained before, I liked it enough the first time. The second time was like, this is really great. And then like the third or fourth time, I was like, this is my favorite Tarantino movie now. And it still is to this day. Anyways, yeah, so Hopkins, yeah, again, I'm going with him over Hanks as well. And I don't, I was actually debating because I wanted to put Hopkins in, so I knew he was in. And I was like, I'm keeping Dafoe, so I was like, do I drop Hanks or do I drop Pacino? And I was like, well, Pacino got in today. He's basically, this could be one of his final shots at a nomination. The same goes for Joe Pesci. The same maybe for Anthony Hopkins. He is 81 after all. Again, 5 old white guys, unfortunately, in this category, for those of you who really like the diversity there. Again, not to bring up that cloud storm here, but just nominate the best actors or the best at whatever their craft is, and that's all I got to say about it. But this again was a tough call between these, and I just kind of saddled on Hanks because another thing too, the Lighthouse is looking at nominations in other categories like cinematography and stuff. And yeah, sure, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is also looking at a screenplay nod, but really that movie is riding on Tom Hanks's nomination there to really be the big support for the film. And even though he's very popular with the actors, of course, I look at it and it's like he was nominated for Captain Phillips in 2013, but he missed out, I believe, at SAG for Saving Banks, Saving Mr. Banks, as far as I recall. Here, once again, I'm going to fact check myself here. Let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, I've been navigating around some of these screens, so I'm kind of getting used to it here. So Captain Phillips. Then before that, Castaway. Then before that, Saving Private Ryan and stuff. Won the first SAG ever for lead actor for Forrest Gump, of course. But he wasn't nominated for Saving Mr. Banks, wasn't nominated here for The Bridge of Spies, wasn't nominated for The Post, so obviously he wasn't nominated at Oscars for any of those either, but, it's like, it's not like Hanks has been loved by SAG every single time here, so we just have to remember to keep that in mind here. Let's see, otherwise we got Jamie Foxx still holding out, maybe a chance here, Sterling K. Brown in Waves, Aldous Hodge in Clemency, and also Shia LaBeouf in Honey Boy. Let's see, for actress in a leading role, I have Awkwafina for The Farewell, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, Renee Zellweger for Judy. That just kind of feels like the lineup to me now. Lupita Nyong'o still has a chance for Us. That could very well happen. Cynthia Erivo did get in both at the Globes and Critics' Choice there for Harriet, so watch out for her. Alfre Woodard for Clemency is still hanging in there. Helen Mirren missed out for The Good Liar today. Julianne Moore didn't get anything today for Glory Bell, but I had them listed anyways. So, yeah, that one's a little more cut and dry. Let's see, then for actor in a leading role, I have DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Eddie Murphy for Dolomite Is My Name. I am keeping in De Niro for The Irishman, even though he did miss this morning, and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker is my fifth slot. So, yeah, again, even though De Niro missing today, I kind of talked about it a little bit in my review for The Irishman, how many of our videos ago. It's like, it's really kind of a one-note performance through most of the movie. It's not till the third act that you really see him, finally kind of embrace his character a little bit and kind of start going, a little bit more emotional and stuff. And definitely when he gets to the last 20 minutes or so of the film, then you definitely see what he can do as an actor. And all that, the classic De Niro kind of comes out for how good an actor he can be, a dramatic actor, that is. But I still feel The Irishman will be pretty popular here, so I think he'll get in. If he misses again, though, that really starts to say, okay, so they're going with, Eddie Murphy could usurp him, maybe Adam Sandler, maybe Jonathan Pryce. Pryce did get in today, but again, the Two Popes really went over well at the Globes today. So, yeah, maybe Pryce gets in also instead of De Niro again, and we have the same lineup except for Murphy there as we did today at the Globes for that, the drama actor category otherwise lines up. And DiCaprio, too, so yeah. Let's see here then. Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, I would also not discount. Taron Egerton for Rocket Man, and also Christian Bale, who was nominated this morning for Ford v Ferrari. Yeah, so we'll have to see where that one goes, but it's really, a close one, I think, coming down to the wire there. For the ensemble category, my five are Dolomite Is My Name. I'm sticking with Jojo Rabbit, even though it's been disappointing the last couple days. Marriage Story is in there, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Irishman I did put back in there, so I dropped The Farewell from my original predictions here. But you got to look out for Knives Out, Little Women, Downton Abbey. We mentioned Bombshell. We mentioned Parasite, also potentially. The Farewell, I think, is still going to be in for the fight there. Hustlers has a possibility here, and also Just Mercy, I think maybe might strike here just in case, especially if it gets Jamie Foxx in. Then if it really overperforms, I think this might be the first place it does it. But yeah, again, I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, Dolomite. We did see. I was kind of looking at it again. I was like, it's 3 Netflix movies, and it's like, I don't know. It's like we had 3 Netflix movies up for Best Drama Film today, and another one up for Comedy Musical with Dolomite. So all 4 of them did very well this morning at the Globes. So it just, I don't know. It's like I almost want to, that old rule I was kind of talking about there with, so many studios and stuff. I don't know. I kind of want to cross that off and just go with 3 Netflix, Sony, and 20th Century Fox here. That's or Fox Searchlight rather. And yeah, again, JoJo has been disappointing the last couple of days. Sure, it got like 3 of its kid actors nominated at the Critics' Choice, but that's not going to carry over to anything going forward. And it, basically Scarlett Johansson, the script, and the film got in at Critics' Choice. This morning it was the young actor. It missed for screenplay, missed for director, and was in for film. So really, I think those 2 were it, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. Just off the top of my head now, I can't remember, but I can look again here. Yeah, just those 2. Yeah, Roman Griffith Davis. So again, whenever I don't predict the kids, they get in. Whenever I say, the kids won't, you get what I mean here. When I predict them, they don't get in. When I say they're not going to get in, they get in sometimes. So, anyways, yeah. Plus, it was kind of a weaker field. True, that's true. But still, for what it is, I think. I don't know. It's like, again, I look at that ensemble, like those actors and stuff, and it's like, I don't know. I just get a feeling they'll get. Even though, again, they missed the ensemble there at Critics' Choice as well, so that's worth noting. Yeah. Otherwise, Hollywood, Irishman have strong lineups there. Marriage Story, of course. So I don't know. I feel like that's the 5 I'm going to go with. Knives Out, could be here. They do go with some fun movies sometimes. Like last year with Crazy Rich Asians, which was in the mix for the Oscars, but it wasn't necessarily a big player. The same way I think Knives Out is kind of in that same contention this year. Little Women, missed out at film drama this morning as well, so I feel like that one, it'll get the 2 nominations in the acting, for actress and for supporting actress, but I don't necessarily see the whole cast getting in there. Downton Abbey, it's a TV, mostly TV cast. We do remember there are, a lot of, we have to remember who the TV stars are and stuff, and there's, I think a good number of them in a couple of the nominations I have here. A couple Dolomite fellows are from TV with Keegan Keegan Michael Key that's right, the one that's not Jordan Peele, sorry. Keegan Michael Key, that's right, I got it right the first time. JoJo has a couple people in it that are from TV. What's his name, Alfie Allen or whoever, the Game of Thrones guy, Theon. I don't know. I'm midway through season 2, so I don't like him right now. I don't know. Don't tell me if I'm supposed to like him later, please. Don't spoil it for me. Marriage Story. Merritt Weaver's done some TV work. God, who else in the cast there? Otherwise, yeah, Alan Alda, of course, is a TV legend. Laura Dern's done a lot of TV movies and stuff. So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm sure has a couple in there. So. Yeah, and The Irishman, I'm sure some of that supporting cast, I'm sure a lot of them come from some shows and stuff that I haven't seen. But yeah, we that's always another kind of trademark. You kind of have to, when you're picking these, you kind of have to say, okay, where's the TV stars at and stuff. So, but yeah, Downton Abbey, I think, is another one. Yeah, it could get in. It's definitely one that could surprise us there. Yeah, Bombshell, I think the same thing. Parasite, if it's really that popular, it can get in. But, it did get 3 nominations this morning at the Globes. And really, I think the only way it could have gotten more is if it got Song Kang-ho in for supporting actor. But again, it wasn't a guarantee. So, yeah, I think it did about as well as it could this morning. Farewell again, with the Asian or mixed Asian American cast in there, that's another thing that could, propel it. But it's just seeming, after it got a couple nominations today, but it wasn't, top of mind, I think, for a lot of Globes voters. And then it, didn't do so hot at the Critics' Choice, which really I think would have been the one place where it could have really landed a lot of nominations, but it didn't really go full throttle there. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, again, I don't know if there's anything else to really mention here. Like Joker, I don't see it getting into ensemble. If it does, it'll be, a monster upset. I'm trying to think what else did well today. The Two Popes did pretty well today, 4 nominations at the Globes, but again, it's pretty much a two-hander. It's the same trap I fell into last year with Green Book. I kept saying, even though it's status in the Best Picture race, Two Popes, of course, is much less compared to Green Book, of course, at this point last year. But it's basically a two-hander in that one. So that was something I kept overlooking, and people kept mentioning it, but I just kept saying, it's so high in the Best Picture race, it's going to get in, and it didn't. So, for ensemble, that is. So I can see that happening to Two Popes as well. God, I'm trying to remember what else got in today. I don't know, it's been such a long day there. I can pull it up again here. 1917. I don't necessarily getting it for ensemble. I think the stunt ensemble kind of takes care of that. Otherwise, yeah, we mentioned Knives Out. Rocket Man, I don't see as a big threat here. Yeah, not Harriet. No. Yeah, we kind of mentioned. Yeah, Ford v Ferrari does have a lot of people in the cast, but again, the stunt ensemble I think kind of is more what they're looking at. I mean, not obviously not guaranteed, but yeah, I wouldn't. And then, yeah, Richard Jewell, again, I think if it had really taken off today, then I think we would have seen more people jumping on the boat for that, potentially getting in for like an ensemble or Kathy Bates or Paul Walter Hauser or something, but I don't necessarily think so, yeah. All right, well, I think that'll wrap it up for this video here. I'll just get one kind of day off, and then we'll be back here on Wednesday morning a little bit later, not quite so bright, not quite so early, and we'll see where they go from here for the 26th SAG Awards.